Hey, thanks, sports fans. Quarterback coach Todd Krueger here Friday night. Again for our show, Elite Football Recruiting, here on Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. I want to thank Nick as my producer. I want to thank Ron Roberts from Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island, for having me, let me host the show. It's going to be a fun show tonight. Talk a little about pro football, college football, high school football. Very excited to have a guest tonight. We have Kevin McKenna. He is a freshman in high school. Most of the times I've had older guys. I've had college coaches on. I wanted to try to get a younger person. He's just starting his high school football career, so his viewpoint and the questions he wants answered and things we talk about are a little bit different, so it'd be a younger viewing audience for parents whose kids are middle schoolers on what's going to happen as they get to high school and in the training part, and do they want to play college football in that whole process. He actually might want to go to a prep school, so we'll talk a little bit about that process also. Anyways, it was a big week. I'm sporting, I don't know if you can see it, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat. I'm all in on Tom Brady. I think Tom's doing great. I live here in New England. A lot of us were upset that he left, but I just understand it's a business decision. It's a money decision. So I'm grateful that Tom, and happy for Tom that he's doing, they made it to the Super Bowl. It's amazing from going from one team to another and integrating himself. It's just, I don't think people realize how hard that is with new teammates and learning a new playbook. It's like learning a new language. It's very, very, very difficult. So congrats to Tampa Bay and Tom Brady. I'm rooting for him. It's going to be a huge challenge. Patrick Mahomes is just amazing. Even when he wasn't even 100%, he could make plays. And the stuff he does is it's just so much different than other quarterbacks and the things he can do. A lot of the things, we do quarterback training. If you look at my Twitter, Quarterback Guru, that's what I do for a living. I've got a private quarterback training business now going on 13 years. And we practice drills and skills and stuff. And Patrick Mahomes, things he does is just so unbelievable. A lot of it has to do with he had a baseball career, so he's played in shortstop. People don't realize that, but he was used to having different arm and elbow slot angles to throw the baseball to first base. And so it's very comfortable for him to do that with quarterbacking, where most quarterbacks have to have the elbow position and the throwing position consistent. It's very hard to change throwing motions and still be accurate. So it's pretty amazing. Another big news is that it just got announced today that Massachusetts is going to be having high school football in February. They're going to start February 22nd. Teams can start practicing. They have 2 weeks of practice, and then they're going to start their high school games. For people who are listening to this who don't live in the New England area, other parts of the country already had their high school football. New England did not do that with the COVID. They were shut it down. So Rhode Island, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Maine, Vermont, New York, none of those states had high school football, only New Hampshire. So it's pretty exciting. It's been up in the air for a couple of months, whether or not they were going to have, they've talked about it since September, whether or not they're going to have high school football. So, I talked with a lot of coaches, high school and college and players, of the reality of trying to have high school football in February. I mean, right now, today it was like 10 degrees out, and we just had a new snowstorm 2 days ago, and it dropped about 6 inches, half a foot of snow. And it's so cold that snow is not going to melt. And on Monday or Tuesday of next week, we're supposed to get another snowstorm. And I'm concerned, and I think everybody else is concerned, how they're going to play high school football in February and March. If there's snow on the ground, I don't know how that's going to work. If you have a turf field, then you can go scrape it off, shovel it off, blow it off, and you can practice outside and have games. But if your high school doesn't have a turf field and you're trying to play football in March on frozen grass, on frozen ground, I just think that's problematic. So I'm sure that everybody's going to try to do the best they can and figure out something that works. Maybe what they'll do is they'll share all the high schools that have turf fields, they'll share those fields so they can play their games on turf. That's one of the ideas floating. So we'll have to see how that works out. But at least they're having a season. It was so tough for the kids up here in New England to try to, for the 2021s to get recruited when they didn't have a football season. So I'm glad they're going to do that. I'm sure Rhode Island will follow, and all the other states in New England will follow to have that. So that's going to be great for those guys. At least they have some film, some way to get recruited. This year with COVID, it's just a tremendously challenging, weird year for recruiting for not only the high school, but the college coaches. The NCAA forbid all Division I schools to go off campus, to have any kind of on-campus recruiting. Other than Division FBS, all those other colleges, those other divisions didn't have college football seasons. So, it was tough, just so tough. And with the NCAA allowing all those college students to get another year, basically a red shirt, where they didn't lose any eligibility, and they gave an option to all the college players, there's going to be college players that are going to stay and play another year. And so what's going to happen is that's going to be a ripple effect for the high school kids, because those colleges, which normally would say recruit not FBS schools, but Division II, Division III, FCS, instead of recruiting 25 or 20 kids a year because graduating seniors have left, that number is going to go down to 6 to 8 or 10. So there's going to be less spots for scholarships, and it's going to be harder to get a scholarship. So it's going to be really challenging. It's going to push everything down. So kids that would normally be recruited by FBS are going to get pushed down to Division II. Kids that are Division II level, skill level, would be pushed down to Division III, and that means the Division III kids, the fringe high school players trying to play college football Division III, they're going to get left out. So it's going to be a really, really challenging year. That's why we ran with my other business, my Academic Elite football training business, where we concentrate on academics. We ran a showcase in December up in New Hampshire. We had 120 kids, and we had 32 college coaches, and so it was great. We've already had 6 kids got scholarship offers to attend colleges, so it worked out really great. So that at least we could do something. So I'm excited for the high school kids to at least get a chance, have some film. Once again, I want to remember, go to my Twitter. I reposted it. Go to my Instagram, Quarterback Guru, same thing, my Instagram. I posted the ideal what your Twitter account should look like. Again, I talked to the college coaches at that showcase. Twitter is the number one vehicle where college coaches are recruiting kids now with virtual recruiting, kind of like Zoom training. And if you're not having a Twitter account that is strategic, you're going to be left behind, because you want to have information so they can go right to your Twitter. I still see guys with Twitter, it just says their name and their year, doesn't even say their position. Some don't even say their year, and then that's it. So you really want to go to my Academic Elite or Quarterback Guru Twitter or Instagram and check out the free. Next week I'll actually post it. I'll have Nick post it of what it looks like. And you want to have your name, your position, your year, your height, your weight. If you have your GPA, your SAT, any of that stuff, any other success stories, you want to have your huddle tape. All that information readily be available to the college coaches, so they click on your thing, they can see it, maybe have your coach's email address, your email address or your phone number or some kind of way to contact you. And then you also want to have your huddle tape strategic too. I still see guys with 6, 8, 7, 8-minute huddle tapes. College coaches do not want to watch a 6-minute huddle tape. They're not going to watch that long. At this showcase, I asked college coaches, how's it work? And they said they watch upwards to 100 huddle tapes a day. And all they watch is, they said, the first 2-3 minutes. They just want to see if the kid has some wild plays that catch their attention. And if they think they can play at that level, they're going to reach out to you. So that's all you're trying to do with your huddle tape. You're not trying to, you don't need a whole game tape. And the college coaches are smart. They realize you can edit all your bad plays out. So unless you're putting a whole game tape where they can watch that, which is okay too if you want to do that, but not on your Twitter. If they reach out to you and they want more information, they ask to see a game tape, then you can send them that. But otherwise, you don't want to be doing, 6, 7, 8 minute thing. I'm excited that, so I got some exciting news. We're going to try to run some academic elite. We're going to run some 7-on-7s. We're putting a sponsoring team together. We're going to run some flag football tournaments. That's all coming down in the spring of 2021. So excited about that. Excited about working with Sports Fan Base Network. Rhode Island, they've got some cool things coming on. They're doing live streaming, so I'm excited about doing stuff with them. So a lot of cool stuff coming on 2021 that we can talk about in the other shows. Anyways, after we do this commercial break, we'll have Kevin McKenna come on board, and he'll be our guest tonight. We talk about his process of high school, prep schools, and getting recruited. So, Nick, if you want to give us a commercial, that'd be great. Thanks. Hey, welcome back to Elite Football Recruiting Show here on Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. I want to thank Ron Roberts and Nick, my producer. So if you can bring Kevin up, we'll bring Kevin on as my guest. Hey, Kevin, what's going on, man?
Coach, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm
Awesome.
glad to be inside. Up here in New England, people don't know it. It's pretty chilly out. I think it's below 0 with the wind chill factor, so it's great to be indoors.
Yeah, exactly. It's been really tough to get outside and put in some work with your buddies. You kind of have to stay inside and work with what you have. So yeah,
we've been pretty lucky up until this week. You could still kind of squeeze if you bundled up and did some layers. You could get some outdoor training, find a turf field and get some training in. And we were actually doing that. We actually trained last Saturday outdoors. So I don't know what. Now, tell us, if I get this right, you're from Theater by the Sea? Is that the name of your high school?
Theater by the Sea. I'm from Essex, Massachusetts, like in the district, Manchester, Essex, Massachusetts, by the sea. So, yeah, it's a pretty small town. We have about like 8,500 people in the district, but we're really competitive and we love to compete against the best. But yeah.
So Essex is up like the North Shore, correct? Up by QBD and Marblehead and that way?
Yeah, Cape Ann area. We're on the North Shore, like near Beverly, everything like that. So, yeah.
All right. Nick, why don't you pull up a picture of Kevin? We'll show what him and his – now you've got a couple of brothers that also you play football with. So in this picture, I'm guessing – is that you on the left or are you in the middle?
Yes, I'm number 17. I'm the one on the left with the white cleats.
I thought that QB, yes. So who's the one in the middle?
So that's my brother Eamon. He's the running back. He's the one who actually came up last Sunday with us, and he trained with us. You met him, but the one on the right, he is our defensive lineman. He's an animal. He just shoots gaps all day, and he can really get to into the backfield. Yeah, he's really athletic.
Yeah, so Kevin mentioned I actually do training with Kevin indoors. We have an indoor training session up in New Hampshire. It's in Milford because of the cold weather. So I rent an indoor dome facility on Sundays from 11:30 to 1:30. I mean, it's a little bit of a drive for me. It's about a 2-hour drive up to New Hampshire, but I love helping the guys. We got a great group of quarterbacks and a great group of receivers. And we got 3 coaches, so it's fantastic. And yes, I got to meet Kevin's brother last Saturday. I know he's not like I talked to your dad a couple weeks ago. Your brother that's a lineman is all in on football, right?
What was that again?
Your brother, that's the lineman, is all in on football. He really loves it a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Yeah. He
All right,
loves
so
it.
tell us your story. You can take that picture down if you want, Nick. Tell us like what's been going on. So you're only a freshman. You're a 2024,
Exactly. Yep.
but you've had a lot of success up
Right.
until high school. Why don't you give us a little, a little story about some of the things and some of the camps and your successes you had while you
All
were in
right.
middle school?
All right. So, yeah. So, back in sixth grade, we won the CAYFL championship.
Now
Super
you got to slow down because everybody might not know what that is, and I might have
So
that. So
CAYFL is the Cape Ann Youth Football League, where a bunch of teams in the Cape Ann area, like the North Shore area, like Marblehead, like Linfield, like PBD, like yeah, just schools around there. We all compete. We all compete in this big conference, and it's really competitive. And we love just having just a war out there with all the boys. So in sixth grade, we won the Super Bowl, and then we got bumped up a division where we would face. Where in seventh grade we would face eighth graders. So that was a little rough on us, but we ended up.
that is not fair.
No, I know they bumped us up. It's because we were really good, and we were the smallest team in the
Haters,
league. Yeah, we just had heart.
haters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we just had heart.
You're like the Patriots. They want to
Right,
take you down.
exactly,
So they
exactly.
bumped you. So in seventh grade, they bumped you up to the next league in eighth grade.
Right, yeah, and we'd face eighth graders. We'd face teams above, and we actually made it pretty far. We went into the second round of the playoffs, but then we lost to a great Linfield team. But yeah, and then eighth grade comes around. I was I was with my brothers, and the season started off really strong. We crushed a team, actually really good team in Swampscott. We beat them 32-0, and I've had a lot of success over my eighth grade year. So I think I threw for over 2,500 yards and ran for over 1,000 and in only like 10 games. So I feel like those are some solid numbers, but I could always do better. So
So people that can't really see Kevin, I would describe Kevin as a Kyler. Oh, there you go. You're a little taller.
yeah,
Kyler Murray type body style, right? What are you about 5'8", 5'9"?
5'9", yeah, 5'9", around 5'9.5", I'd say.
And you're on the thinner side, like $150, $160.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, around there. Yeah.
But super, I would describe him as a dual threat, very athletic. When we throw and we do our drills, you're really athletic. I can see you can run. I'm not surprised that you rush for 1,000 yards. You have a great fundamental throwing motion, and I can just see why you had so much success. Now,
Thank you.
that's a lot of yards. So you threw for 2,500 yards and rushed for almost 1,000.
Yeah, we had some really, really good receivers, big, tall receivers.
You
Right.
must have gotten some invites or some stuff to some other camps or
Exactly. Yeah.
showcases or all-star games. Talk about that.
Okay. So after my eighth grade year, around a few months ago, I received a few letters from I would say Wingate University and Nichols College. They wanted me to come out to a college coaches showcase camp with them watching, and they wanted to showcase my skills in front of them and their coaching staff. And I was looking forward to it, but it unfortunately got postponed to be determined. So I'm just waiting until that opportunity comes. And I also got invited to the Next Gen All American selection tour, which is kids all around the country. It's a huge showcase, and it's a selection tour for kids who are picked for the show that was just premiered in like not too long ago. Where a ton of kids from all around the country and really good athletes have just competed in 7-on-7 tournaments down in IMG Academy. Yeah, and also about IMG Academy, I might attend there maybe sometime in high school. So yeah, it's a pretty big factor for my high school career. Hopefully, I could get some offers or some scholarships off of playing there. So I'm really looking
So
forward.
that's the next gen All American is by a buddy of mine named Brent Williams, and he started this about 3 or 4 years ago. And I actually, you probably don't know this, Kevin, but I actually worked his first showcase. He had one up here in Boston. He doesn't do them down in Boston anymore, but I was there, and we had about 140 kids. It was amazing. We had it at the Four Kicks down in Easton. So yeah, I'm very familiar with that. I'm very familiar with Brent. I know there was some New England kids that were down at the IMG showcase. So they've really, that whole next gen All American has really blown up. I think the quarterbacks, they got Tom Brady associated with it somehow. So yeah, that's pretty cool if you can get invited to that. They usually it's kind of like the Elite 11 where they have a feeder system where you go to a regional one and then they have a national one. So if you get a chance to attend that next year, I know everything kind of put on hold with the COVID, but any of those kinds of things you should try to attend.
Yeah, and I was gonna say, you mentioned Tom Brady, and I also got selected to compete in the VI, which is ran by TB12, his organization, and I unfortunately got a chance to compete there with all those other quarterbacks. So that's another blessing I had.
Anytime anytime you can, or anybody who's listening, anytime you can compete, go to it. Especially when you're younger, it will measure you of where you're at compared to other kids you're competing against at whatever position you're at. We specialize. Kevin's a quarterback. I'm a quarterback coach, but you can measure to see what you're good at and what you need to work on, and see what the other kids are that you're competing for. Because down the road, that, Kevin, you're going to be competing against those guys for college scholarships. And all the guys that train with me, that's what their goal is. They want to become the high school starter, and then they want to play college football, right?
Exactly.
I know you're only a freshman, but everything kind of speeds up now with the internet, and everybody knows what's going on with recruiting and rivals and Twitter and Instagram and Snapchat and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Do you have some colleges, a dream list, or some schools that you already thought about that you might want to attend?
So I do have my own list. I have a list that I've been building for over the past year now, and I've been in touch with a few coaches briefly. Of course, me reaching out myself, but my top schools, I'd say my top number one would be probably Penn State University. If I could get a chance to play
great
that,
choice.
amazing.
That's a great choice.
And then I'd also want to maybe I think my top two would probably be Penn State and Notre Dame. I'd say, those are my top two schools that I'd love to attend. But anywhere I could get a chance to play at the highest level, I'm gonna take it no matter what.
All right, so I know you're still a freshman, and I don't even know if you probably haven't taken the SAT or the ACT, but how's your grades at school?
So my grades, we just started a new semester, and with all this remote stuff, it's been tough, but I'd say I'm really trying to do my best at hanging in there and just getting all the work I can in. So because with a lot of kids over the past few months, it's been really hard for them in our first year of high school, doing it all remote except in a classroom. But now we're in the classroom, and I'm doing a lot better. I have really good grades. I think I have straight A's right at the moment. But
that's great, Kevin. So what you've told me, I've heard that over and over and over from a lot of kids. So don't feel bad and from teachers too. The whole COVID and trying to figure out how to teach remotely and the technology and how to make it work. It's been a challenge for everybody. So just hang in there. Work hard. But did you say you're now this semester you guys are back in school in person?
Yes. Well, so we are doing a hybrid schedule. So it's we go in 2 days out of the week. So it would be full remote Monday for everyone, and then we have things called cohorts, which is a white cohort and a green cohort because those are our school colors. And so I'm in the white cohort. It's from A to J and then J to Z. So I'm in the J to Z area because my last name's McKenna, and then that would be the white cohort, and then the other one would be the green cohort. So the green cohort would be from Tuesday to Wednesday, and then the white would be from Thursday to Friday. So,
Well, there you go, everybody. There, he gave a very good explanation of how they do the remote. They do it by their name, and so 2 days a week in class, and then 3 days at home. So, well, I'm glad you're doing so well. 4.0. We talk about it all the time at Academic Elite. The better the grades, the more it's the scholarships. So I tell you what, let's Nicholas, go for a commercial break, and when we come back, we'll talk. Kevin, can you stay a little bit longer?
Yeah, of course.
And we'll talk some more details about Kevin's future, and he think about going to a prep school and being recruited by colleges. Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's quarterback coach Todd Krueger, quarterback guru on Instagram and Twitter. I also run Academic Elite Football Academy with our show tonight, Elite Football Recruiting, here on Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. Again, I want to thank Nick for producing the show and Ron Roberts for letting me host his show. Tonight, our special guest is 2025 Mr. Dual Threat, Massachusetts Kyler Murray, Kevin McKenna. I still can't believe that you were 2,500 yards and you rushed for 1,000 yards. That's amazing.
Yes.
So,
yes.
So let's talk a little bit about, you came to me. So Kevin, I do indoor training in New Hampshire, and that's a fairly close drive for you, under an hour, because there's not that many indoor places. And you approached me last week. And why don't you tell the viewers and the listeners what you asked me and what you're kind of thinking about?
So I went up to Coach Todd on Sunday, and I was asking him if I could give him a call about going to some prep schools that I could get my name out there a little bit more, get some more exposure, get to play against some better competition. And we've kind of just been briefly talking about where I would best be fit in for high schools and preparatory schools, and just places where I can fit in and play my best at. So I've been just talking to him about where to go and the opportunities I could get if I went there.
Well, we'll just so everybody can see, we'll just make this a typical. I get asked this, once you're my client, I'll help you any way I can. And for people that don't know me or don't understand, prep schools are preparatory high academic high schools that were basically in New England. There's probably 40 plus high schools in New England. They've been around since the 1800s. They were there to help students do better academically so they can get into the Ivy Leagues and the High Academic Patriot League and the NESCAC. And so what happens when you go to a prep school is they give you another year of high school. So basically you get a redshirt year of high school. So it's very popular, and that means you get an extra year of playing sports. And so that is a very popular thing here in New England, that a lot of athletes and students who want to raise their grades to try to get into a Ivy League school to score better on the SATs or whatever, to get more experience, maybe mature a little bit. And I actually was a coach at Lawrence Academy in Groton, Mass. Kevin, have you ever heard of Lawrence Academy?
I have, Coach. I really have.
We were a monster. We were so good. We actually got in trouble because we were too good. And I think we lost 2 games in 3 years, and we had 28 FBS students. And I was there for 3 years, and we had my 2 quarterbacks. One guy went to Syracuse, and he was Charlie Loeb, and the other quarterback went to UCLA, and his name is Mike Orloff. So I'm actually going to try to maybe have those guys on my show. But yeah, so I know very well all about the prep schools. And so I asked you, why do you want to go to a prep school?
Well, yeah. So I'd want to go to a prep school because I feel like I'd want to really do whatever I can and what's best for me to achieve my dreams of playing at the highest level of football. And maybe going to a prep school could be the best decision I can make because of maybe just getting another year of eligibility in high school and just seeing where I end up and seeing what my potential could take me to and how I could just get better as a student and as an athlete. So I just want to follow in footsteps of a ton of people that Coach Todd has coached over the past years.
Yeah, it's I tell all the guys that want to go to a prep school, it's not easy. It's almost like getting accepted to go to college. You have to apply. They look at your academics. The first thing I always ask, athletes, I talk to their parents also. I talk to your dad. That's the first thing I asked you. You weren't even there. I think you were on the field. I asked your dad, how's your grades? Because there's a selection process to get in there. They don't just take anybody. You have to qualify to get in. So the academics and the athletics are definitely a benefit. What I see is it's a private school, and the people that go there, all the students that go there, all seem to be super motivated to excel, and you don't always get that at a public school. I know you're a driven football player, and if you go to say you went to Lawrence Academy, you'd be surrounded by other football players just like you that want to excel in football, and so it just drives everybody to work harder, become better, and usually you're playing against competition that's off the charts. Most prep schools might have 2 or 3 or 4 FBS or FCS kids in their team, so it's really a great opportunity, but it's tough to get in, and on top of that, it is not cheap. When I was at Lawrence Academy, there's 2 types of prep schools. There's a prep school where you are a boarding student, just like you're going to college. And I think at the time, Lawrence Academy was $52,000 a year, just like a college. So they do have scholarships and they do have academic and financial aid, but it's not cheap. It's a super commitment by the family and the parents. And then a day student where you just like going to public school, you leave at the end of the day. I think it was like $35,000. So prep schools are not cheap, but if you can afford it or if you can get a scholarship, there are definitely advantages to it. And if you can get accepted academically by the school, there's some real great advantages. So that's some of the things I told you. Isn't that right?
Exactly, Coach. You have.
So have you started looking at any prep schools that you kind of have looked at or maybe talked to or your dad talked to as far as prep schools?
Yeah, well, so I've been just kind of just keeping in mind the prep schools I would want to go to and see who's over there and how they would be for me. I have been looking more towards like a Milton Academy because my aunt is actually lives in Milton, so I could maybe commute there. And so I've been kind of just kind of observing every other school. I haven't really been in touch with any of them, but I've been seeing what could be my potential school to go to. And I'm also checking out IMG Academy in Florida because they kind of want me to go down there for baseball also and football. So I've been just considering that also. They gave me some money to go down there. So I've been just trying to see where I could go and what would be the best for me academically and athletically.
Yeah, it's a tough choice. I know I had a quarterback from Phillips Andover in Andover, Mass, Michael, and he went down to IMG this past year. And I used to know one of the quarterback coaches at IMG. I don't think he's there anymore, but very familiar with IMG. If anything about football, high school football, must know about IMG. They're just a powerhouse, superstar, one of the top high school programs in the country. It's a private school. I don't think it's a prep school to say, but it's a private school. And I don't know if you know this, but they actually have 5 teams. So they have 2 PG teams. They've got like a varsity team, a JV team, and a freshman team. So they are really, really got it going down there. And then the competition they play is off the charts, and they've got unlimited resources. Have you been down there yet?
I
They
have.
fly.
I've been down
They
there
play. You went down for baseball or football?
for both. I went down for baseball and football. They got a good look
Did
at
you
me.
did you do a camp, or you just did like a
Yeah, I
visit
did a
with a meet?
camp, and then they invited me back, fortunately, and then they wanted to talk to my parents about maybe sending me here for a semester or two.
Yeah, I'm sure it's uh, that's a financial decision you have to make a determination about. Um, but they play. I'm sure you know they play unbelievable talent. I know they fly to California, they fly to Las Vegas, they fly to Georgia. They're playing New Jersey. They're playing the best high school teams in the country. I know on one of the teams. I'm not sure of the five. All 22 players got FBS scholarship offers. So um, they are really, really loaded as far as high school football. I don't think their academics are quite on the par that the prep schools in New England are, but their football's off the charts. So I would recommend to you to anybody who would think about going to a prep school. It's the same determination as I look at colleges. You want to look. So you're a freshman. People who don't understand or do understand, you can reclassify, which so that means right now you're a 2024. That's your projected graduate from high school, right? As a freshman is 2024.
Yes.
You could reclassify and become a 2025 high school graduation. So that's always a consideration.
Yeah,
That
I'd
gives you
love.
another. You like
Yeah,
that idea? Is that
yeah,
what
I
you're thinking
really
of
do.
doing? So
Yeah,
um, my thing is, I would think about going to IMG maybe a little bit later in your career. Try
yeah,
to have some success here
yeah. Because
because you don't want to go down there. Because here's the thing: it's like going to Alabama and playing football. You're playing against the best of the best of the best, and so you might get stuck being third string. I mean, you might be the big dog in Essex, and you threw for 1,500, 2,500 yards and rushed for 1,000, and you get down there and there's three of yous. So and you get stuck second or third string. So maybe have some success early on up here, and then maybe go down there as your junior senior year.
yeah,
That
that's
would
what
be
I
my
was.
recommendation.
Yeah, like
The IMG.
right. I have built a strong relationship with them. I tried going down there again for camp over the summer, but I had to be sent back due to COVID reasons. But yeah, it's a great experience going to anyone that wants to check out the camp. I highly recommend it. It's a really fun experience, and it could get your kid exposure in front of these coaches. So I'd highly recommend that. But with that said and done, yeah, I have been considering a lot of just opportunities that have been set out in front of me for high school, and what I'd want to do. Like as you said, reclassifying. I'd love to do that. I'd love to do something like that because it would also give me some more time in high school and some more experience under my belt in high school, and just overall improving as a player and as a student as well.
Yeah, we talk football a lot, but anybody who knows me up close, we always talk about academics. You've heard me talk. We're always asking, grades are important. Prepare, use football to get into college, do the best college academically you can go to. And, the reality is most people aren't going to play in the NFL. I mean, everybody that plays football always dreams about that. But the reality is that's a small percentage of high school and college football players going to the NFL. So you need to prepare for life after football, and best way to do that is to go to the best academic college you can. And that's the great thing about the prep schools is they really have a lot of great relationships with all these great schools. We're so lucky up here in New England. Have you started thinking about, I know you're only a freshman, do you thought about like what you might want to do when you go to college, what you might want to study?
Yeah, so I've honestly been really, really like just thinking about like sports psychology or maybe just psychology in general, is because I love giving advice to people. I love yeah, I love just seeing where just helping people out in personal life situations or anything. Like I just love helping people. That's just me. And I also want to get into sports psychology just to get more into what athletes are doing to help themselves get to where they want to be. and just their overall physical health and mental health as well. So yeah, I've been.
That's Kevin. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but if you want to do that, you're going to have to go get another degree. You're going to have to get a postgraduate degree. So either get an MBA or a PhD if you want to be a sports psychologist. But that's pretty cool. I think that's a great field to be into, especially if you're into sports, helping other players and kids, parents, achieve their dreams. It's kind of like what I do with my coaching. I'm not a sports psychologist, but that's a pretty cool thing. So yeah, your grades are really important. That keep up that 4.0, you'll be able to go to any school. So have you thought about, I'm sure you're familiar with the Ivy League. Have you ever, you're familiar with the Ivy
I am
League?
familiar with the Ivy League. Yes.
Would you ever, are you considering going to a school like that? Or I know their football's not, they have really great football, but it's not quite like Boston College.
If I ever get well, first of all, if I ever get a chance at the Division I level, whether it's the 1AA or 1A, I definitely take it. But if I get more opportunities at the FBS level, then I'm fortunately going to take that. But if I unfortunately don't get that experience, then of course I would want to take the Ivy League route, of course.
Well, I hear that all the time, and the advice I give everybody is to try to have a full spectrum. Don't put your eggs in all one basket related recruiting. So it's the same thing with prep schools. It's the same concept is you need to have a full array of different schools that you want to try to get into, because in the prep schools, there's different levels. There's the Evergreen, there's the ISL, and there's different levels of prep schools. And so you have to look at what you think you can play at. How soon do you want to play? Go look at the prep school. I know you talked about you're going to a prep school maybe next year or the following year. Is the starting quarterback on varsity? What year is he? So if you're a 2025, you don't want to go to a school with a starting quarterback's at 2024. So you're going to be behind him for 3-4 years. You want to find a school, or maybe they're a 2023 or a 2022, and you get a chance to start as a sophomore. Ideally, that's what you would want to look for. That would be the strategy that I would have. And then see who is most excited to have you come on board. You always want to go to a school that wants you, so that would be my recommendations. And then figure out if you want to be a day student or do you want to be a boarder. Milton seems like, I don't know, that's what, hours plus drive every day, maybe more. But if that's something you're okay with or the parents are okay with, that might work.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could. Again, I said this before. Like in Milton, I have some family in Milton, so I could maybe commute from there to the school, because they don't live too far away. Whenever we go to see them, we drive through Milton Academy actually. So and I saw the campus and it looks really, really nice. So I'd love to check that place out sometimes. So
I've trained 2 quarterbacks that went to Milton. Actually was on their campus. Went and saw a Milton High School game. So one kid went to Brown from there, and the other quarterback went to Lehigh. And now he's actually, that would have been 3 years ago. And now he's actually the starting quarterback at Lehigh as a sophomore. And this year the season got canceled. So he'll be a junior and he'll be the starting quarterback at Lehigh. So very exciting. So I'm very familiar with Milton. They have a beautiful field, great history of success. So back when I was coaching him, they threw the ball a lot. They were throwing the ball 30, 40 times a game. So it changes based on your talent. For people who don't understand, prep schools are allowed to have 4 PG kids or 4 kids that can come on campus, and they can only have so many of them. So Milton would be a great choice. I think I talked to you a little bit more around you. I think I talked about Pingree. We got New Hampton in New Hampshire because you're right on the border. Lawrence Academy, Governors. You have all those different prep schools up by there, Groton. Have you talked to any of those prep schools? Have you looked at any of those?
Well, yeah. So I've been looking at sort of like Govs and Pingree.
Okay, you got Govs. Everybody doesn't know that stands for Governor's Academy.
Yeah, Governor's Academy. Yeah,
which is in Danvers, Mass. Which is probably how far from where you live, Danvers?
Danvers is actually really, really close. It's I'd say about like 15 minutes away. So
Yeah, so there you go. Because I'm guessing Milton, it's at least an hour, and
yeah,
it's
it's a good
southwest
drive.
of Boston. So if there's traffic, it might be an hour and a half, hour 45 minutes. But and Governor's been great for a long time. They were battling Lawrence Academy. BB&N and Governors were our two arch rivals. So those programs have been really, really good for a long time. So Governors
Yeah.
would be a good choice. What else?
Yeah, also like I've been kind of considering BB&N. I see a lot of progress and talent come out of there. So I've been just kind of eyeing that school at the moment because they just had a few big time FBS commits come out of there to like Michigan and different places. Yeah, so I've been kind of just looking at that school for just a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, Coach Mike Wiley. I'm friends with Coach Mike. Coached against him when Lawrence Academy played BB&N. Now he's the head coach, and he's been just doing a great job. Like you said, they've had one or two or three FBS guys every year in the last 3-4 years. I know they had a lineman or linebacker just decommit to Michigan.
Yeah,
But
Tyler Martin.
yes, Tyler Martin. So they've got it rolling as far as big time. And I know the quarterback that starts there actually trained him, Severio. They throw the ball a ton. And, from year to year, based on your talent, it might change. But back last year and the year before, they were throwing the ball 40, 45, 50 times a game, hurry up offense like Peyton Manning. So it's a great school. That's down in Cambridge, Mass, which is where Harvard's at. And they're a day school. So they don't have any – it's like a high school. You go there every day and you leave. So there's nobody sleeping there, no border school. But those are both great choices, BB&N and Governors.
Yeah, any chance I could get to a prep school, it'd be an honor to go there. So, I really just I want to do the best I can in school and on the field. I've been working really, really hard. I've been waking up at 6 in the morning every day. I've been either doing footwork, throwing routes with my buddies at the field, and just lifting and doing whatever I can, like rotational work, stuff like that, just to improve my overall self and health and just improvement on the field, because I'm willing to work harder than anyone in front of me. So that's just me. And that's the drive I've been blessed with.
I love it. I think you're going to do great, Kevin. So I know it's scrolling at the bottom. So any prep schools in the New England area that are looking for because some prep schools, they like the PG, which is a post-grad. They want to get a junior, senior. But other schools, they talk to me all the time. They want to get guys when they're freshmen, sophomores, eighth graders, where they can keep them for all 4 years. It's more affordable for the school to give out money if they know they're going to be there for 4 years. So any prep school who wants to get a hold of Kevin, why don't you slowly tell them your Twitter email address so they can reach out to you?
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. I really appreciate all this.
You're welcome, Kevin. I love your spirit. Why don't you go ahead and what's your Twitter account? Is it Kevin?
Yeah, it's Kevin.
Slowly.
Okay. All right. Kevin, capital MC, 959-262-78.
All right. So what's up with all those numerical digits at the end? Is that your cell phone? What's up?
Twitter hasn't really been doing me well with giving me a good username. I've been trying to fix it, but
that's one of the things. I'm going to put it up next week. I'm going to have Nick put up my help sheet. You want to have something really easy, like you should just have your name in like your middle initial or
you could change it.
I don't know. I'd have to, that's a great question. I'll have to look into that. Can you stay for another 5 minutes? We'll talk a little bit more. All right. So Nick, why don't you go to one more commercial and then we'll come back and we'll close with Kevin and just finish up about high school recruiting and college recruiting. All right, we're back with Kevin McKenna. He's a 2025 quarterback from Essex, Massachusetts. He's looking to transfer and go to a prep school. He's only a freshman. His 8th grade year in high school, he threw for 2,500 yards and rushed for 1,000 yards. Man, I didn't throw for 1,000 yards in high school, my 4-year career. That's amazing. So, Kevin, I got to ask you, I got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hat on. I don't know if everybody can see that. I'm a big Brady guy. Did you watch the playoffs last weekend?
Well, I did. I was. Come
on, you didn't watch. We got done with our training on Sunday. You could go right home and turn the TV on because that's what I did.
Yeah, well, I'm sorry, Coach. Like after I trained, I went to the gym.
Oh, everybody hear that? You hear that? You guys are going to be in trouble. The guy trained for 2 hours with quarterback training. We threw for 2 hours nonstop. We ran around. It was a tough workout. You went home, and then you went to the gym to lift weights?
Yeah, I went straight to the gym from there, actually. I didn't go home.
You are a stud.
Thank you.
Oh, man, you're going to be fine. You're going to be fine.
Yeah, I've been just trying to do what everyone's not.
All right, so okay, so you maybe didn't watch the games, but you know who's in the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, so who are you rooting for, or who do you think's going to win?
I want Brady to get his 7th ring or 6.
There you go. New England, we're Brady guys. How do you think? I don't know. You don't like Mahomes?
I love Patrick Mahomes. I honestly kind of model my game after him, but I do model I model Kyler Murray a lot, as you say. I really, really like the way Kyler Murray plays, but in some ways, I just love how Patrick Mahomes can just throw so effortlessly and just he can do it all. Really, he's such a talented quarterback.
Yeah, for people who we go to our training sessions, I actually have off-platform, which means scramble drills that they're called Mahomes drills, right? We have the Mahomes backpedal and throw, and we have the 360 and the slide right and left. And so I'm a huge believer in Mahomes. He does some stuff that's right. The cat can do stuff that you just can't coach.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Like he can throw off his back foot. He can throw no look. He can do it all. But honestly, I'm kind of rooting for Tom Brady because he's on his last legs at the moment. So I just want him to push it out a little bit more and get his 6th ring.
Dude, I'm in the same boat. I love Patrick Mahomes. Last year he was the MVP as far as the NFL. This year I agree was Aaron Rodgers. But I want to see the GOAT. I want to see Tom Brady, the overachiever, the old guy, the 43, the haters.
Yeah.
New England Patriots. The people are pissed that he left. I want him to do great. I'd like to see him because they're the underdog. I always root for the underdog. Somehow, I don't know how they're going to outscore Kansas City, but somehow figure out a way to beat Kansas City next week. Yeah. I don't know how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I know. It's going to be a tough battle between the teams. It's going to be crazy. I'm really excited to watch it with my buddies.
The only way I see Tampa beating Kansas City is somehow they can create some turnovers.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes. Maybe he. I don't want to do this, but maybe he's not 100%. Maybe he stubs his toe or hurts his ankle or something. He's not 100%, and somehow they can. I mean, dude, Tyreek Hill. I don't know how you cover that guy. The guy's like,
I know. Like you can just literally just throw it up and he'll go get it.
Yeah. Then they got Kelsey. They got like 2 guys that are like the best players at the position. So the cheetah, they just put him at slot and he's gone and no one can cover him. And they try to play man-to-man, cover 2-man, and he just outruns the coverage. So I don't know. The Patriots a year ago had a great game plan, but they only held him down for a half. So I don't know if there's any way. I mean, they dismantled. I played for the Buffalo Bills. You knew that, right?
Yeah, I know that.
I mean, they're probably my students are probably tired of me talking about the Buffalo Bills because I talk about it all the time when I play for the Bills. Anyways, they made the Bills look silly last week. I mean, what was it, 38-21, 38-17? They just killed them. And I like Josh Allen, but he's not in the same skill level as Mahomes yet. So, but I'm definitely rooting for Brady.
Yeah, I hope he can pull out something out of his hat.
I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
He's going to have a perfect game. They can't throw 2 interceptions like he did last week, but we'll see. I can't wait.
Yeah.
But we're doing indoor training this Sunday, so I'm going to have to come up with some new. I'm going to do a Brady drill, and then I'm going to do a Mahomes drill.
Awesome.
We did a little Mahomes drill last week. Remember the drill where you scramble and then you backpedal, and then you try to throw off your backpedal off balance while you're backpedaling. We call that the Mahomes drill. How hard is that one?
It was tough. It was tough just being uncomfortable, but I made it work with myself and like what we could do, and we all did. So I feel like we did do a pretty good job, but it was tough. Trust me.
Yeah, you guys have a good group. I got some videos. I got to put that up. I took a video of each guy. I should put that up next week. It's so hard because you're off balance. You don't have any usually you just push off your back foot onto your front side and you can rotate your hips. None of that you can't really do that. And then you've got to learn your release point's different. So everything's different. So you don't have any power. Your release point's different. It's hard to get any mustard or any velocity on the football. It's one of the hardest throws. I try to do it and I can't do it. I mean, the stuff that you do, I could never do when I played in the NFL. You guys are just so advanced. It's unbelievable.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you. Well, I really, really hope that I could just improve as much as I can. And I feel like I have a really high ceiling for myself. And I feel like I can improve a lot, but I really do think I have a lot of potential. And I'm still growing. I'm only a freshman, and I'm only 15 years old. So I say I'm probably going to be around like 6 feet, 6'1". I'd say something like that. I'm just getting into my puberty stage, so I think I just do have a lot of growth there, and I can already throw the ball pretty far. Like I could already throw a high school ball around like 50, 55 yards, I'd say. So if I could just do a lot of arm strength work and mobility work, which I'm already doing, I feel like I could improve that.
So I'm just starting to think, if you get to 6 foot and you get about $175, $180, you could be Baker Mayfield. He's in high school. He came out of high school at a 6 foot, 180. So if you can just put some weight on and get a little stronger, you could be the next Massachusetts Baker Mayfield. We'll be excited to follow your career. So Kevin, I want to thank you for coming on the show tonight. It was so great to talk to you. I will see you Sunday. I'll probably see one of your brothers catching. I'll see your dad, and we can talk about the show whether you liked it or not.
Yes, Coach. Thank you so much for having me on this. It was truly a pleasure to have me just talk about everything and you being on here with me. It was great.
All right. Well, thank you again. That's the end of our show. Nick, thanks for producing the show. Ron, thanks. We'll be on next week. Elite Football Recruiting on Sports Fan Base Network, Rhode Island. I'm out.
Thank you.